So thanks for joining us, and Benedict is here. Benedict.
Yeah.
Hi. Good morning.
Benedict.
You know Mama V is a Man United fan.
Yeah, I know. You're a Chelsea fan.
Yeah, why not do too well in the league? Don't worry. All the Champions League, don't worry. We're now spectators.
Yeah. It's good when you're a spectator and you're watching from behind and your team is not in.
Yeah, it's good.
You know how it feels like when your team is in and you lose. If you're a City fan, if you're a City fan and you watch how Liverpool beat you yesterday, you obviously will be shattered. You know.
I know. You're a Liverpool fan.
Yeah, I have a soft spot for Liverpool. I'm not a Liverpool fan.
Okay, yeah.
Just like Manchester.
I used to support Liverpool in 2005, I think. 2004, 2005.
Yeah, it was 2005 when they played in the Champions League
against
AC Milan. Yeah, first half they were down by 3 goals to nil. Second half they equalized and eventually won on penalties.
I remember Shevchenko losing a penalty.
At that time, I was fully Liverpool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So how come you moved to Manchester
City? I don't know.
I think she likes the historic teams, those with history.
Exactly. I'm sure maybe you heard that Manchester United won Premier League 20 times when Liverpool.
I think Liverpool started disappointing.
It was 18. Manchester was 13, and gradually they closed the gap. And now they overtake Liverpool.
Yeah.
All
right, Benedict, we will be joined by our colleague in Kumasi, Love FM, Delali Atiase, who is sports editor there. Yeah. We're talking about this issue that's making...
the Commonwealth Games.
Yeah, that's making headlines elsewhere as well. We know that... So let's start from what we know so far.
You know, what happened, especially when you're going for Commonwealth Games, is if you're a journalist, and you apply for accreditation, automatically when you get the accreditation, that is your visa. So for instance, let's say the Commonwealth Games is being held in the UK, and you apply for accreditation and you get the accreditation. You don't need to go through the UK Embassy or High Commission for a visa. The accreditation you get serves as a visa, so you just pick your passport and the accreditation, you buy your ticket, and then
that's what they do for the Olympic Games.
For Commonwealth Games. For Commonwealth Games, not Olympic Games. It's just like the FIFA CAF tournament. It's also different. With FIFA CAF tournament, when you get your accreditation, that does not serve as a visa, but the letter of accreditation can help you with your visa application process. But with Commonwealth Games, as soon as you get the accreditation, that is your visa.
It makes sense because Commonwealth is different. We're part of the Commonwealth countries.
I remember the last one in Glasgow. When I got my accreditation, that was my visa. I couldn't travel. And it's just like all other Commonwealth Games. So in this very case, what I know and what I've been told and per my checks happened was that, you know, the Ghana Olympic Committee will front for journalists in the country, because if you want to apply for accreditation, you would have to go through the Ghana Olympic Committee, and then they will notify the international body that this journalist from this media house has applied for accreditation to cover the competition.
Okay.
And when your accreditation comes, they will then notify you. So in this instance, some journalists applied for accreditation, others couldn't apply. And then the GOC applied these accreditations for journalists. I'm being told that it was in excess of 70 accreditation, over 70. And what happened was 4 guys in Kumasi got theirs. Other people here in Accra understand that some UTV, other radio stations also, didn't get it. So
even though they applied?
Even though they gave names for people to travel to the Commonwealth Games. What I'm being told is that the entry officer at the GOC, his name is Hussein, as well as Madame Christine, they've been suspended.
Currently, following this?
Yeah, following this, they've been suspended. Right. So what happened, or per my checks, is that the people that traveled with the team that were claimed to be journalists in Gold Coast are people that they have no idea about our job. So these are people, when they got there, they asked them, what are you coming to do? And they said, I'm a journalist and I'm covering the competition. Okay, well, if you're a journalist, what shows that you're a journalist? Mention names of some of our athletes. And obviously, when you tell a Ghana man or anybody to mention names, the person would, definitely will mention some names, but forgetting that they will cross-check. If you mention Willan Walker, and maybe you might think that, oh, these people are just white and they don't know Willan Walker, so let me just give the name of Willan Walker and just go. Willan Walker, they go through the system. There is no Willan Walker participating in the Commonwealth Games for Ghana. Okay, aside that, where are your gadgets? I mean, if you're a journalist, you're coming to cover a major competition or a championship or games like the Commonwealth Games, you should have your at least
the basic tools.
No,
but I hear some people had cameras, like they said, you're a photojournalist. When they ask you, say you're a photojournalist. When they ask you, say you're
there was nothing like that. No laptop, no recorders. The basic things we use for our work.
Doing the work.
They had nothing like that.
Okay.
You know,
now,
and one guy, 2 days ago, one of the guys who was part of these people that traveled to Australia, in an interview mentioned that, you know, when they heard about this Commonwealth Games being held in Australia, well, for them, he's a worker here. He's not a journalist. He just works in this country, and he thought of, okay, let me go to the sports ministry and find out if there is a way I can also get to travel to Australia. He said he went to the sports ministry. He didn't get any help. He went to the Ghana Olympic Committee. It was at the Ghana Olympic Committee, but he failed to mention the name of the official who he dealt with. So he went to the Ghana Olympic Committee, and he was told to pay some money, according to the guy. So he paid. He said first he paid $2,000 and later paid $9,000, and then he was added to the group and was told he's a journalist. They gave him a journalist tag. That's his narration, that he was given a journalist tag. So when he got there, that he faced all these problems, said they were handcuffed, and the officials that they went with couldn't help them. They left, and you know, and he said there are over 40 people, and I'm sure.
So what was the intention? To just go and watch the games and come back,
they're not going to watch
remain
the game.
there? So they will get lost in the system.
He's not a journalist. He wants to go and live in Australia, and he heard that it's just like you hear an ad. A travel and tour running an ad on TV or radio saying that, okay, we are taking people to watch Olympic Games or World Cup, and you express interest, you want to go.
So they give you one of the sections where you can be. So yours is to be a journalist.
So for this guy that we spoke to, for him, he was just going and he wasn't coming, and his attention and everything wasn't on the games. He was just going his way.
Wow.
So when he gets there, he just finds a way and just go. Unfortunately for him, when he got there, they had to go through all these things, and they couldn't answer some of these questions. And
okay, so my checks indicated that the Ministry of Youth and Sports, the National Sports Authority, are saying that they have no knowledge of all this because officially, even for the main Olympic Games and other related games, whether it's Commonwealth, etc., the whole process of the accreditation and the management of who participates goes through the international body, through the Ghana Olympic Committee.
That's right.
So then, who is funding the team, so-called Ghana, that is there?
Okay, because it's an international competition and we are participating in the name of Ghana, it's Ghana government that's supposed to foot the bill. But in terms of whoever has authority on our participation there, the IOC will not deal with the sports ministry.
Or
it's
the
just
National Sports Authority.
Yeah, it's just like FIFA will not deal with ministry, FIFA will deal with GFA, but when a national team is going to play, you get government funding the national team. It's the same thing. So the IOC will deal with Ghana Olympic Committee, athletes that are going, number of athletes, everything is from IOC to the Ghana Olympic Committee, not the sports ministry. The sports ministry will only come and fund for our participation, just like they did with the pre-games campaign where they had to send the 72 athletes to Gold Coast to go through the campaign before the championship itself. So that's the basic thing. That's what happens. It has nothing to do with the ministry. The ministry only comes in with the funds, and the GOC have absolute authority over the athletes we are taking. That's why they have federations. So let's say we have tennis. We have tennis. We have tennis. We have weightlifting. We have other competitions. So what happens is, when you have all these things, the federation heads, they will ensure that, okay, we'll go through our qualification, and after the qualification, now the GOC will come through, because the GOC is a big body, and all these federations are under the GOC. So tennis will come in with their athletes that are qualified.
All of them are
boxing. Yeah, all of them are under the Ghana Olympic Committee.
Then it's even bigger than the Ghana Football Association.
So when you hear Ghana Table Tennis Federation, if you're going to participate at any international competition that the GOC is in, you are under the GOC. Okay. You understand?
So now who do we blame? As you kept asking the questions, who should be blamed? Who has been mentioned?
Now, based on what the narration the guy gave us, It says he dealt with an official of the Ghana Olympic Committee.
Has he mentioned name?
No, he's not mentioning any name. He said because I mean money is involved and he wants to get his money back. So he says he's not going to mention a name now until he gets his money. So if he gets his money, then he will.
So how much has he invested so far?
He said 20,000 Ghana cedis for him. He paid more than 20,000.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I listened to.
He has 20,000 for the.
He has 20,000.
It's interesting. We're trying to get hold of the deputy sports minister. Agreed to speak with us. So as and when the call goes through, we're going to raise him on the line and ask him some of the questions that we're asking ourselves. Now that you say 2 people have been suspended, it means that there are investigations ongoing. And
yeah. No, he even noted
things.
that you know, when this issue came up, we spoke to him on radio. And he noted clearly that, yeah, this is something they would have to investigate because even the deputy sports minister is the chairman of the games. You know, they set up a committee for these games.
Oh, really?
And he is the chairman of that committee. Ensure that the athletes are in good, you know, in terms of preparations and everything that they did. You know, normally we go for these championships and there are issues of how athletes are not well taken care of. But this time they wanted to ensure that things are done right. So they set up a committee with the deputy sports minister as the head, with other members from the GOC as well as the National Sports Authority. So, I mean, some of these things, if it happens under the watch of the GOC, it's directly under the sports ministry as well.
Okay.
So he mentioned that, yeah, they would have to go through and investigate and find out who and who, you know, were involved in all these issues to find out what exactly happened.
Okay. All right. And Dalali Atiasi will also join us in the course of this. Benedict, what we keep showing on the screen, that's the opening of the games.
Yeah, and that was when?
Yesterday. You know, 13 hours or so. So, as we sit here...
13 hours GMT?
Yeah. Today
their time?
Today is Thursday.
Today's Thursday, yes.
So it's Friday there.
Okay, so they're way ahead of us.
Yeah, they are way ahead of us.
Okay.
So that's what's happening.
All right.
How many people do we have actually?
72 athletes participating in 12 different disciplines.
We have 72 athletes, and we sent how many journalists?
72 athletes.
Oh my God. Okay. So there you have it. That's the,
some
the
of
Ghana
our athletes,
team.
Yeah.
All right. So this is what we're going to do. We would want to do the other sports stories, and then we'll try and get some of our colleagues, Delali Atiasi is being set up to also speak to us. So you have other sporting stories as well.
Of course, we're talking the Champions League.
Yeah, we have to talk the Champions League. But even before we talk the Champions League, we do the discussion and analysis. Maybe we can get to see the highlights of the games yesterday. I'm sure, Mavi, maybe you missed, you missed the Liverpool-Manchester City. You want to see how Mohamed Salah.
She missed the pictures, but not the scoreline.
Oxymoron, how they dazzled.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll return to this story in a bit, but let's shift and give you Champions League, a roundup of the games that were played yesterday.
So we had which fixtures yesterday?
So yesterday was Manchester City, Liverpool, and then Barca, Roma. You know, the attention was on the Manchester City, Liverpool, because obviously when you pair Barca, when you pair Barca and Roma, you know that Barca definitely will go through because of the history between the two teams. The last time they played at the Camp Nou, Barca won 6-1, and when you have Roma going back to play Barca, this is Champions League. Yeah, so the attention was on the Manchester City, Liverpool, and especially when Liverpool is the only team this season that have beaten Manchester City. So you definitely will talk about that and lived up to the billing, because I mean, you look at Jurgen Klopp and Pep Guardiola, Jurgen Klopp is the only manager that in Europe, in terms of head-to-head with coaches, he has the upper hand over Pep Guardiola. Jose Mourinho does not come near.
Oh, really?
Of course, it's only Jurgen Klopp of Liverpool who has been able to do that. And yeah, he's been doing that consistently. In the English Premier League, as I mentioned, the only team that have been able to beat Manchester City this season in the English Premier League is Liverpool.
All right, so now let's watch some of the highlights, Benedict.
In an all-English quarter-final in the UEFA Champions League, Anfield played host to Liverpool and Manchester City on Wednesday night, with the citizens having undergone an intimidating journey into the stadium, with fans throwing flares and bottles at their team bus. That harrowing ordeal seemed to affect the visiting defensive line in the 12th minute.
On to Firmino. Is it going to drop for him? It did. He might still get it. Salah's there. Salah scores! First blood to Liverpool. 12th minute.
Leroy Sané regained his composure to threaten as City looked to get back on level terms quickly. But it was not long before the Reds were 2 up, thanks to a thumping strike by former Arsenal player Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. Only 10 minutes later, it was 3-0.
Now it's across. Mane's going in! Liverpool get another one. 3 in 30 minutes at Anfield. Against supposedly the best team in the land. Manchester City aren't looking that here.
Without really threatening in the opening half, Sané was again City's attacking fulcrum to begin the second half as the German flashed a shot across goal. With no meaningful chances for the rest of the match, the scoreline remained unchanged until the final whistle, with the Reds and their manager Jurgen Klopp celebrating taking 3 goals into their second leg encounter.
Since the start of 2013, Barcelona have not lost a single Champions League match at the Nou Camp. The European heavyweights were then favourites to progress to the penultimate stage of the competition when they met Roma on Wednesday evening. Before sealing their progression, they first needed to defeat the Italians in the first leg to gain the upper hand. There was a big penalty shout from Roma in the opening 10 minutes, with Edin Dzeko seemingly impeded. The appeals fell on deaf ears. On the opposite side of the field, the talismanic Lionel Messi stung the gloves of Alisson when he tried his luck from range. They were getting closer and closer as they settled into the encounter. Ivan Rakitic struck the uprights, serving as a warning to the Romans. Barca kept piling on the pressure, and they knew that Roma would eventually snap. The pressure proved too much for stalwarts Daniele De Rossi, who put the ball into the back of his own net, trying to clear the danger. With the Catalans benefiting from an own goal for the 4th time this season in the Champions League. There was more luck that came their way in the second stanza as they managed to stretch their lead through yet another own goal. Rakitic slid a fine ball across the face of goal, looking for Samuel Umtiti, whose shot came off the post before rebounding into the net of Kostas Manolas. It was pretty much game, set and match, with another tie to go as Ernesto Valverde's troops extended their advantage. Gerard Piqué found himself upfield and bagged the 3rd with ease, with Barca in dreamland. But the hosts were hit with a reality check as Dzeko pulled one back for Roma, a goal bearing some significance as it represented their away goal. But defending was Roma's ultimate downfall, and unmarked Luis Suarez restored their 3-goal cushion in the closing stages to leave Roma on the verge of elimination. With an away goal in the bag, they'll have some hope come the second leg, but it's bound to be a tall order, with Barca simply too good.
Well, so we're back, and very exciting games there.
Especially the Liverpool City game.
Yeah, surprising result, wouldn't you say?
No, not really. Not really. It didn't come to me as a surprise. You look at how Liverpool have been playing this season and that of Manchester City, they have the same style of play. They are an attacking-minded team. But normally what happens when you play in competitions of this nature is when you go away, it's always good, or, I mean, if you're a manager, you would want to sit back, soak the pressure, and at least get a slim win. If City, if it had been 2-1, 2-0, you know you still have a chance. But for Liverpool to score 3 and City not to score a single goal, it makes it very difficult for Manchester City going into the second leg. Yeah, you say that Man City definitely is a team that can score Liverpool more than 4 at the Etihad. But mind you, if you are scoring 4, Liverpool also will score some, because they have good players in Mohamed Salah, Firmino, and then Sadio Mane. And these are players that on any day in any game will get a goal. So it will be very difficult for City at this point to make it to the next stage of the competition, for a team to come, for a team to beat you 3-0 and not score a single goal would be very, very difficult. If City had scored a goal at Anfield, then making it to the next stage of the competition would be a possibility. But now, I think, very, very tight, and Liverpool are favourites to make it to the next stage of the competition. You look at yesterday, the play of City. Normally, the players that turn up for them, Leroy Sané, Kevin De Bruyne, Silva. Yesterday, these players were very quiet. It was Liverpool in the first half that dictated the pace of the game. Jordan Henderson as well as James Milner in the midfield were resolute. And when you talk about the front view of Liverpool, that this season they've scored more than 70 goals. The three players, that's Mohamed Salah, Firmino and Sadio Mane. These are players that on any day, if you leave them, they will punish you. And yesterday you saw the goal that Mohamed Salah scored and that of Sadio Mane.
But he got injured.
He got injured. And from the press conference of Jurgen Klopp, the manager, it's not an injury that Liverpool fans should worry about. They just didn't want him to aggravate the injury. That's why they had to take him out for a different player to come. Wijnaldum came on for Mohamed Salah. So it's likely that he will play their game against Everton and then the second leg, which is next Tuesday. It's
interesting how the love has turned around, because you see people showing stuff and saying, trust in Klopp.
Well, that's what happens. That's what happens. But Klopp is a very experienced manager in Europe.
Yes, he is.
With Borussia Dortmund.
He's proven it time and time again.
With Borussia Dortmund, he was in the finals of the Champions League, lost to Bayern Munich in Wembley. He's a very good manager. He's proven it. So doing this at this stage of the competition is nothing new. The same man took Liverpool to the finals of the UEFA Europa League. So it's nothing new.
All right, now you can join us. Join us with your comments. You can join us on Facebook. You can join us via phone 0302-211-69102. Give us a phone call. Let's get talking. On Facebook, Roland, Komla Ezono says, Liverpool just showed the difference between a club with real supporters, history, and 5 Champions League trophies. And, hey, what is that? The fact that they are rich, now until they pay you. Benjamin Nanakwasha Donson says, you have to fear your opponent when he talk less prior to a fight. Stephen Asansi said it was a heartbreaking decision. Okay, so Mo Salah, kind of like our hero in Africa. We all love him.
African Messi.
Yeah. He's our African Messi. Is he for real?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Mo Salah is doing very
all right. So you can also send a message if you want to comment.
What makes it interesting is that he's been very, very consistent for both club and country. He was the man that qualified Egypt for the World Cup, single-handedly did that. And for Liverpool, from AS Roma to Liverpool, this is his first season at Liverpool. Look at the amazing things he's doing. He's the current top scorer in the English Premier League and also the top scorer at Liverpool, breaking records, recently won the African Player of the Year, Asian Player of the Year. So he's an African Messi.
Yeah. All right, so we're boxing all the conversations together. You can send us a message. You can give us a call. Still on your messages on Facebook. Mo Aziz says, not at all. These are the kind of games Liverpool love to play. Benjamin says, I pray when they qualify, they meet Bayer, because Madrid and Barca go be hard. This is a Liverpool against. Margaret says, no, they deserve it. So answering the question.
No, it's not Liverpool against. He's just saying that, he will prefer Liverpool will play Bayern because of Klopp's history with Bayern. Klopp manager Dortmund and consistently was beating the same manager, Jupp Heynckes, who is now manager of Bayern Munich. So he feels that, Klopp should go back and play Bayern Munich and not either Barca or Real Madrid, because he feels that with the current form of both teams in the Champions League will be difficult. You look at Real Madrid, in the domestic football, they are not doing anything in terms of winning a trophy this season. There is nothing to win. The only silverware for Real Madrid this season is the UEFA Champions League. And UEFA Champions League, they've proven in the last 3 years that when it comes to Champions League, forget about their form.
Let's get Jerry to have a say. Jerry's joining us from Ho. Jerry, good morning. Hello, Jerry. For Jerry.
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
Aha. Okay, you're on air. We thank you for joining us. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you too. I don't get it because Man City team, they made us believe that they can win all the trophy. and I don't know what to say, but I don't think they can overturn it.
Okay, but are you
wish them-
speaking
I
as
wish
a
them
Man
good luck.
City? Are you speaking as a Man City supporter?
No, how can I support Man City? So we have to support Man City.
Which team do you support?
Oh, sorry, I'm Arsenal fan.
They are playing the Europa League.
Okay, so
All
all the
right,
best, a
thank
nice
you.
day.
Yeah, you too, Jerry.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for giving us a call.
And
I can't imagine that Arsenal fans will be interested in the Champions League.
yeah, and you're watching us. My good friend Jacob Na, you work with the GBC. You also call Chuku on the Chelsea page. Good morning to you, Chuku. You're marrying this weekend. We wish you all the best. Benedict is supposed to be there.
Yeah, I'll be there.
You'll be there,
Yeah.
right?
I'll be there.
And then Seth Sangre, you're with Unique Insurance. You manage the Ashaman head office, or the Ashaman office.
Okay,
Good morning to you.
Gideon in Nkoko sends us a message. Says, I want to know if Ghana is the only country to try and send fake journalists. If yes, then we have a long way to go. 2014 it was Brazil. 2018 is Australia. It's a shame. Thanks for the message, Gideon in Nkoko. Here's Abugri Phillips from Tamale. Says, I think yesterday Liverpool showed the world that they have what it takes to win the Champions League. William Akume is also joining us on the phone. William, can you hear me? Good morning.
Good morning, Sister Mamavi.
Oh,
Yesterday
and for William, please don't call me Sister Mamavi. Let's hear you, William. Please go ahead.
Yes, yesterday we were so happy because we don't know what to do. But this man is a thorn in our flesh. He has already defeated all the great teams in England, and I was very, very happy when I saw that defeat yesterday. So thanks to.
So you are Man City against, eh?
Yeah, he beat my team mercilessly. Christ, Arsenal. So I was very annoyed with the man.
Yeah. Well, the way you talk, you sound like an Arsenal fan.
Yeah, he has already defeated my team, and I was very mad at him. And all I can say is thanks to that very man, Mohamed Salah is doing great job for Africa. So I said kudos to him.
Against Supporters Union.
Thank you very much, William. Let's speak to Stephen. Stephen Anan is joining us from Deso. Stephen, morning.
Good morning, madam. How are you?
I'm good. Yourself?
I'm also great.
Nice. Let's hear you.
Football is a game that we don't need to support. Sometimes it doesn't tell the truth. How can Liverpool score Man City 3-0?
But you saw, or you didn't watch?
How come? How come? How? I don't get you.
How say?
Sometimes something that we predict might not come in true.
Yeah, true. That's life.
Yeah. I hope you didn't put your money on it.
No, I don't think I will do that, because like if I did, I would put the money at the back of Man City. If I did that, I will lose.
Yeah, I know you would have loved, because the way you're speaking there.
It's probably that they meet Madrid or Barca so that they show them the red colors.
I tell you.
But it's normal,
right.
especially
Stephen,
when,
thanks a lot for your call.
you know, it's normal. In a domestic season, Manchester City are leading the English Premier League table, 16 points difference between themselves and Manchester United, and almost 20 points between themselves and Liverpool. And if a team of this nature is playing against Liverpool, straight away you think that Liverpool will beat them. It's just like the Barca AS Roma. I mean, you never predict that AS Roma will go and beat Barca.
True.
Unless maybe, you know the dynamics of football.
True. I can imagine the people who are disappointed because they put their monies on this game and they predicted that Manchester City was going to win straight out. Jesus Kwame Danko is calling us from Krashi. Is your name Jesus?
Yes, please, madam.
Oh, wow. How nice to speak with you. Good morning. Let's hear you.
Good morning, madam. I only talk about and then Liverpool and then Man City.
Okay.
I mean, I'm so surprised Man City just go down 2 goals to nothing. I mean, the players that they get and then the coach that they get. I mean, yesterday, I'm so surprised.
Are you disappointed too?
I'm very, very disappointed. I'm a Chelsea fan, but, you know, going down 3 goals, they are out already.
You can't think 5.
Yeah, in the Champions League.
They are out already.
Yeah.
Thank
all right.
you very much.
Okay, Jesus. We'll see how the second leg goes, but you've kind of taken them out of the league already. Let's read this message. Champions League is always played with experience and pedigree. Liverpool exhibited that. Zanzigi inside a gas SHS. Okay, sending this message. This one says, Jose should be a man just like Klopp and face Pep on Saturday. Tiwi coach. Who is the Tiwi coach you are referring to? Even in Copta. Oh, so there's
talking about Jose Mourinho.
There's a Man City Manchester United game.
It's happening this Saturday. At the Etihad Stadium.
What time?
It will be that's the early kickoff. But you know what
that's
happens?
11, 12.
So what happens in that game is if Manchester City are able to win, they'll be crowned champions of the next English Premier League.
They'll be declared.
Yeah, they'll be,
but not necessarily
not crowned. Yeah, they'll be declared champions of the Premier League. Whether how many games to spare?
Oh no, I mean,
5 games
yeah, we know that they've taken it. We knew that a long time ago, so nobody's fighting them. Nana Kwame is watching in London, saying that you're enjoying the program. Well, we thank you for watching and enjoying.
Well,
Rudolph in Cape Coast says, Mamavi, to be honest, I was so happy yesterday. I was in church and still surfing to check the scores. Good morning to you. I wonder if you remember what was preached in church yesterday. Wahab Adama from Golu says Liverpool all the way. Jose should learn from Klopp. Everybody is saying that he should learn. This one says the leading team in England is Man City and the best team in England is Liverpool. Thanks to tactical Klopp, Pep is now in a comfortable lead. Said Inwa sending this message. Authorities are always waiting for journalists to report on problems before they take up their responsibilities. Then you see them riding in their flashy cars like trucks, bone shakers, and their Ghana. Mama Vipa selling tomatoes 18 years ago. Some people sending messages on the general conversations that we've had on the show. We'll come back to all the general comments that you make. I'm just going to be selective on the ones related to sport. Okay, Salah and money making Africa proud. More grease to their elbows. A message that's coming through on WhatsApp. Okay. So let's rope in Delali Atiasi.
Right. So Delali, are you on the line? Okay, Marvin, that's for you.
Okay. So Delali is joining us. I'm sure the famous rooftop, Love FM in Kumasi. I can be sure that that's where he's located. If it is not true, say thing. Delali Atiasi is joining us for this conversation. Delali, good morning. If you can hear me, welcome to the conversation.
Yeah, good morning, Mama V.
Yeah. Let's start off with the So you're on the famous rooftop. I wasn't wrong after all. Dela, in Kumasi, we know that some journalists were bounced from going to Australia or they were returned. What angle of this are you getting from Kumasi? What has resulted in their comeback?
Well, Mama V, interestingly, I heard that 2 of our guys from Angel FM were part of the team that were deported from Australia 2 days ago. But unfortunately, we've not been able to get their side of the story. All that we know is what we are also picking up from the others who have been deported. We are trying our best to see whether between today and tomorrow we'll get them join us in our studios for us to talk about their ordeal and what they went through and what happened back in Australia. But we know for sure that there's one guy called Jeff and there's another person called Azeman. These 2 were part of the team, were part of the 50 that were deported from Australia. Indeed, I'm being informed that even these 2 were on radio before they left that they were leaving for greener pastures, and so they were even saying thank you to the owner of that is the Angel Broadcasting Network, saying goodbye to their friends back here in Ghana, that they were moving to Australia and they might not be coming back anytime soon. They were going to work and so go and start a new life. Unfortunately, it didn't happen like that for them. We hear they are back. We'll try as much as possible and get them to talk to them by the close of the week to know what really they went through and how they are taking it back home.
Amazing. I was going to say you have to monitor the radio. Maybe they will announce their comeback. But Dela, are these journalists? Because, you know, when you say they announced that they were going and not going to come back, possibly.
Well, yes, indeed, they are journalists. I know, to the best of my knowledge, in this profession, if you are 5 years into the profession, I guess you qualify to be a member of the Ghana Journalists Association. And so, yes, they are journalists. Jeffrey, for instance, does a lot of radio commentary for Angel Broadcasting Network. And so, I'll say he is a journalist. The Isaiah man I'm talking about, I know is a producer, one of the producers for the show. And so, they are all in the fraternity with us. They've been with us for some time now. And so, I guess they qualify to be journalists, if we should put it that way. If not, then they are radio presenters and they are sports presenters. They work with us. We go out with them. We cover matches all together, and so they are part of us. And so you can't say that they are not journalists. Indeed, they are journalists. They are part of the work we do. We are with them day in, day out, and so they are part of the fraternity.
Interesting, but are people talking about this issue of fake journalists or journalists being deported? Is it a conversation that people are having where you are?
Oh yes, of course, indeed, it's a conversation. It's been very topical in most of the radio discussions in the city in the last 3 days, especially when information goes through that yes, indeed, some sports presenters were part of the deportees or those who are arrested back there in Australia. So it's very topical. But you know, the one other aspect of this discussion is the fact that usually when we go for games, when I say we go for games, I mean Ghanaians, you know, a lot of scandals do happen. I remember when we went to the All Africa Games in Maputo, we came back, a commission was set up, nothing has come out of it. And so now people are calling that there should be an Australia or a Gold Coast commission. And then this commission, if a white paper is issued, they should make sure that they follow the white paper recommendations to the letter, so that those who are found culpable are punished. We know that already 2 officials of the Ghana Olympic Committee have been suspended or said to step aside. Yeah. We think that they should go beyond that. If indeed money was taken from people, and if indeed some people who were not journalists but were given accreditation or posed as if they were journalists, and indeed then it means that something has really gone wrong. This is a case where I'm sure that if the authorities had interviewed maybe the few correct journalists who were part of this team, probably it wouldn't have gotten to where it's gotten to. But I think that in interviewing the deportees, they started with guys who really were not journalists and they don't know anything about what they were going to do there. And so that's how come they had to add all of them into the pool and decide to deport them. And so this is not an issue that should be overlooked. It's an issue that should be well investigated thoroughly, and those who are found culpable should be punished.
Yeah. We'll wait and see. We will see what happens in the coming days. I think it's sad already, guys, that this has been overshadowed, really. We don't even know what games are we involved in.
Yeah, that was what I was going to talk about. You know, we are in the competition, and
that is the most interesting. That's the most interesting aspect of it. If you don't know what you are going to do, if you don't know the number of disciplines Ghana is going to participate in, if you have no idea at all about why you are going there, definitely your appearance at the game is going to be suspicious.
Yeah.
And so you cannot also blame the Australian authorities for taking that action. But as I said, if probably they had interviewed maybe some true media men out of the lot, probably it would not have gotten to where we are now.
Yeah. Della, hang in there for me, and then you can come in. It's a conversation that we're all having, so you can step in when you want to. But Benedict wanted to say something.
Yeah, yesterday, which is today, here in Ghana, some of our athletes started in their disciplines. And we started with swimming. So Jason Arthur, he's qualified for the semi-finals in 100 meters.
They've started the initial warm-up.
You know, normally what happens is as soon as we even start some of the games before the opening ceremony. Okay. Yeah, with these games, that's not normally what happens. But
qualifying time for
swimming always will come first. And athletics, the track and field normally will come at the end of the games. And Jason Arthur, he has qualified for the semi-finals of the 100 meters breaststroke, and also Abiku Jackson has also qualified for the semi-finals of the 50-meter butterfly. He made a time of 24:68 seconds. Today, we'll have our hockey female team. They are representing us for the very first time. This is the very first time we are having a hockey female team at the games, and they will play. Something very interesting happened, which I want to share with you. You know, England are there to participate at the competition.
They also got bounced?
No, not that. But what happened was, England were listed as an African country in place of Ghana. So with the hockey team yesterday, that was 2 days ago in Australia, yesterday here, they were going for the press conference. And when they got there, because they had listed England as an African team and how they, wrote the thing. So Gambia, normally after Gambia will come Ghana.
Yeah.
But after Gambia was England. And our girl, the captain of the female hockey team, Nafisha, went to sit at the England place. Because from Gambia is Ghana.
Automatically,
there was no Ghana there. And after the England, there was another country which is an African country. So they got sat there and they asked her a question that, but is Gambia, so why is England listed as an African country? And she gave a very, very brilliant, nice answer. What she said was, you know, all this while they've been looking to qualify for the championship, and England has been of a great benefit to everything that they've been doing here in Ghana. Even with their qualifiers, some of the players went to England to train. England has also been supporting in terms of some of the logistics and everything. So for her, England being there is a motivation for them, and going into the competition, they hope to replicate the fine form of that of the English hockey team.
She's a politician.
For her, it's nothing at all for her. And BBC actually played it and they used it in the story yesterday.
That's great. Even though a mistake or an anomaly, it's been well corrected. But Della, you are out there. Possibly, what would want a journalist who is practicing in Ghana want to go to Australia and never come back?
The money is small.
An interesting question, Roland.
Oh, why? The way you smile, laugh, giggled before
this question. But indeed, I think that probably maybe they are not having the best of services, and they feel that if they go out there, it will be better for them than staying back home here in Ghana to work. It will be difficult for me to really answer this question. But you know that, naturally, some people are of the view that if you want to make it in life, you have to go outside the country, especially in Europe or America, to make it. Others have a different view on that. Difficult to change people's perception about how they see life. And so probably I think that, well, they saw this as an opportunity for them to also go. Maybe they have family friends or relatives who have gone to Australia and have been back and are doing very well in terms of their living standards, their conditions of living, and all that. And so probably they want to come back and replicate what they've seen their family members or friends do. So that's how come maybe they want to take they were taking this decision. And a lot of them too are very young guys. For us who are family men, we can't just go in there and go and say that we are not coming back because we have a family behind. We can't just do that. And so, probably if we get them to speak to them in the next day or today, we'll get to know indeed why they wanted to stay back.
Yeah, sure.
Marvin, to digress, I think it will be very interesting. I mean, one of these days, maybe you can have a show and talk about how some of these young people in this country always think that you can always make it when you go outside the country.
But you don't think when you go outside you make it?
No, well, it depends on what you're going to do there. But if I can share something briefly, I mean, a young man recently walked into this office. It was on a Sunday. I was about going on air on radio. And this young man came. I had just 15 minutes. And he said he needed to speak to me. He had a little challenge. I'm like, okay, you should go ahead. The man lives in Kumasi, works, gets his money every month. And he's been able to save a good amount of money. And he said he saw an ad on TV. The ad was on multi-TV. And I asked him which of the channels, because here is Joy Prime, Adum News, and Adum TV and JoyNews. He said, oh, then it wasn't any of these channels, but one of the, the box, you get other channels.
You have access to others,
But he couldn't remember the exact TV station. And he said he saw an ad, a travel and tour ad, that, they could get visas for people to travel to Canada. So since, he lives in Kumasi, he expressed interest in going. So he called these people and they said, okay, we can get you a visa to travel to Canada. So what you have to do is send us your passport via transport. We'll pick it up. And then when we are done with the process, you pay us. Then we give the money. You send us the money. Then we get you a ticket. Then you travel. So he sent the passport via transport. They went for it according to him. And then got him the visa. You know the visa they got him? You live in Kumasi. He didn't even come to Accra, go through the process where you have to go through and take your biometric, fingerprint, and all those things. He sat in Kumasi comfortably. They got him the visa. They took a snapshot of the visa and the passport and sent it to him. And when I saw the snap, you could tell that it was a fake thing. Somebody have just sat somewhere, designed a Canadian visa, posted in the passport and snapped and sent the young man. And then this man
collect his money.
He had records of the money he sent to the people. 5,000 cedis, 2,000, 3,000 Ghana cedis, mobile money. And then the final one was that he should send money for his ticket, which he did. So he now kept calling the people. They were not answering. He would send a message on WhatsApp. It would take hours for them to reply. So he was coming here because he saw the ad on multi-TV.
He was coming to multi-TV to find out who was behind the adverts.
And these are things that I think
that's sad.
Yeah. And well, I don't know.
That's sad.
Well, Dalat, so for you out there,
Roland, before you engage, let me also, because we're asking people to get interactive with us on this, so people are sending messages alongside, and I will come to you in a bit. Moses Jubitak from Ejura says that we make him late for work almost every day. Well, we apologize, but we like that. But Moses says Manchester is on the track of death. One needs to help the dying man to die, and so Liverpool will help Man City to die. That's like a serious against. This one says, I'm watching you from London. Good show. I want to buy her a ticket to London. Oh, you want to buy me a ticket to London? That would be nice. Send me your name and, give me more details, man. This person says, good morning. Abu Fatah from Tamale is just simply saying good morning to us. Okay, let's see. Concerning the deported fake journalists, it's a shame. We shouldn't sweep it under the carpet. Some heads must roll, as Koku Anyudoho would say. Heads must roll. Okay, thanks a lot for the message. That's Darius in Cove Town saying, Jose sent Mo Salah away at Chelsea because he couldn't improve him. Now he wants to go for him with a huge amount. I'm so gutted to have him as my club manager. Darius in Cove Town sending that message. Also, get interactive with us. Roland, you wanted to ask Della?
Yes, and Della, how far should the investigations go? You said earlier that that phrase we keep saying, that we should get to the bottom of it. Yeah. How deep should we go getting into the bottom of all this?
But is there any precedence, really?
Oh, Brazil.
The dynamics are different. What happened in Brazil is not the same as
all right. So but that was a disaster nonetheless. So a non-pass.
Well, Roland, I think that there should be a political will from the sitting government to do this, because as Benedict mentioned, I mean, the Brazil Commission also came out with a lot of recommendations, but none has been implemented in terms of punishment. Maybe other aspects of the Commission's recommendations have been, in a way, they've worked on it. But when it comes to punishing culprits, people who were found culpable, I mean, misappropriating or trying to, in a way, influence, as we see now, people taking money from others to make them travel back to Australia when they were not true journalists. I think that we should have the political will to make sure that those who are found culpable are punished. The onus lies on the Ministry of Youth and Sports, and then also the other bodies who have the power to punish. If we don't do this, we are going to see a sequence of this happening again, because we have many international competitions ahead of us, and people will try to take advantage of this to push in people, some of them political supporters, some of them relatives, and because they are in higher position, they will try to use their positions, to manipulate the way through for their relatives to get to where they are. Yeah. And this discussion is, in a way, very damning for Ghana internationally, because it's something that is on the internet, it's everywhere, people are reading about it, and so the name of the country is being dragged into the mud. Yeah. And so those who have the power to punish, I guess, should wake up and make sure that the right thing is done.
Yeah. But the Champions League wasn't such a big buzz in Kumasi yesterday.
Excuse me again?
No, just asking if the Champions League matches played yesterday, particularly Liverpool, Manchester City, was it a big buzz in Kumasi yesterday?
It was a big match, when you come back to Kumasi, we've got lots of Liverpool radio sports presenters here in town, and so if you monitor the discussion yesterday, they were very confident that they were going to win, especially putting into perspective the fact that the last time that the two teams met, it was 4-3 in favor of Liverpool. We don't have too many Man City supporters back here in Kumasi or in Ghana, and so the Liverpool fans, yes, many of them, they were on radio, and yesterday even on our show or during commentary position at halftime, they were on. We opened the phone lines. They spoke. Even some said that they were going to add more goals in the second half. But I think that the Liverpool team is a great team. It's a team that is for the future. Coach Jurgen Klopp is doing very well with the team, especially with the front line of Firmino, Mohamed Salah, as well as Sadio Mane. I think that the three of them are doing exceptionally well. Out of 119 goals that have been scored, The three of them, as at yesterday, has scored 77 or 78. And so it tells you how prolific they are up front. And this is a team that needs to be watched. The second leg is going to be another cracker of a game. But I'll be very surprised if Pep Guardiola will be able to turn the skills around. It looks like Liverpool are getting through. And don't forget that the Champions League is being played with a spirit and character. And it looks as if Manchester City are not up there with that character yet. And they'll still have some time to grow into it before they get to the level of Liverpool when it comes to the Champions League.
Well, now I can see the difference. The allegations and the football.
What do you mean?
the lad was in his elements. Which of the teams do you support? I hope it's Chelsea.
Excuse me?
Which of the football teams do you particularly support?
I'm an Arsenal fan. I understand football very much. And so the best team in the world is Arsenal, and that's where I support.
What do you have to show for that, really? What do you have to show for?
We are winning the Europa League this year.
Well, it's good. It's good comfort.
When people are chasing the EPL and the Champions League, look at what you're going after.
Even now, the Europa League is as lucrative as the
Champions
League, because if you're able to
some
win
teams
the
are
Europa
already
League,
out of the Champions League, and we are in European competition. And so at least we should be given that recognition to let people know that yes, we are still participating in a continental competition.
Ayo, we don't need you as participants. We need you to come home with something.
Della, no wonder you didn't go to Australia.
I will do that this year.
But let's read some of your messages. Here's a headline of the year. That's how the message reads. Liverpool leave Man City shell-shocked at Anfield. Eric Nyame at Aguna Swedro. You're sitting, you're somewhere, you're giving us headlines. This one says, when Barca sails through, they will surely be given the weaker vessels in the Champions League competition. Madrid or Bayern is waiting for them. Joseph Arthur in Bonta Ayenswano district. That's where you're sending this message. And I think that we have to be getting ready to wrap up on this. Mr. Roland, you support Abidjan Blue. This one says, a balanced love doesn't demand same from others or desperately longs for it without taking any action. It flows naturally. And I don't know in connection with what exactly. This one's, you're asking me to repeat the highlight game between Real Madrid and Juve. Brian, send you from who? How much will you pay me for that? This one says, fake journalists have been exposed in Australia. This goes to show of the level of corruption in corrupt-ridden Ghana. It has eaten into the fabric of Ghanaian society at all levels. Shameless opportunists of the highest order. Fake journalists are a national disgrace. Kindly include your name when you send me a message. This message is being sent from the UK. And I've said that, please, if you send me a message from the UK, tell me how you're watching the show. This one says, I travel, is it Libya or Lydia, for just 2 years. I was able to build 5-bedroom, bought 2 taxi cabs before returning to Ghana, so I don't blame them. Eric Singh is just, giving us reasons, really, why some people would desperately want to leave. Because he was in Libya for 2 years, and he's been able to build a 5-bedroom, bought 2 taxi cabs before returning to Ghana.
I agree with him too. People also who have lived in Israel and the rest, and they have nothing to show for it.
This one says it's a shame for Ghana to be hit by a visa racketeering scandal. If you're a journalist and do not have the basic recommended equipment for the coverage of the sporting events, then Aussie immigration have every right to deport you. I also feel ashamed as a Ghanaian that our cycling team had second-hand bikes and no coach for the competition and had to rely on local Aussie aid for support. Why send a team for cycling if you don't have the right equipment? Kweku Kizito, Auckland, New Zealand. That's where he's sending the message from. Is it true?
The no coach is not true.
So they have a coach?
Yeah.
But did they go with second-hand bicycles?
Well, what I know is that the equipment they took to Australia were equipment they could have used to participate. You understand? Okay. Normally what happens is when they go, they go in with 2 equipment. The one for participating and also training. So according to the athletes, the one that they were using to train was not the one they were going to use to participate. So that was what the people saw and they thought that, oh, Ghana had come in with
second-hand
yeah, second-hand, because they have bikes that they were going to use, and they came to the area.
All right. Let's wrap up with some text messages on this particular conversation. We've got to move on. This one says, good morning, Liverpool must take the trophy this year. Adams Sisse in Tamale sending this message. It all depends on how well they do. Walk on, yes, we can, Liverpool, all the way. I'm praying Salah recovers on time for second leg and finish the job. Well, Benedict just said that the injury was not heavy.
According to the manager.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
I want the second.
Proud
one.
to the match between Liverpool and City. Charlie, the
Pep Guardiola. You know,
Timothy in
can be
Pandai.
snobbish, so those are people.
I don't do well with the shorthand, so you probably will have to send me.
You're like me. Don't like
I'm
texting.
old school, so it's kind of difficult sometimes.
Those of us who are
Just 2 more messages and we have to run. This one saying that you love our show. Well, we thank you for watching. You're a part of it very much. Kofi from Belgium says, oh, Ghana. Oh, Charlie. It hard. But I'm sure this happens in other countries as well.
Oh,
You know, we're feeling it because we're Ghanaians. And this has happened. And we don't like our names being headlined elsewhere. But thanks to guys like, is Della still with us?
No, he's gone.
Okay, Della is gone. But guys like Della has been to many, many places. And he didn't stay. Maybe because he has a family. But you don't have... now
but
you haven't stayed.
Yeah,
so thank you.
You've been to the US and all that. You come back. Why? What motivates you to be in Ghana?
It's okay.
So thank you, Benedict, for making us a part of your sports today.
It's the Coco.
When is the second leg going to be played?
Next Tuesday, the Liverpool City.
Oh, it's just the next week.
Next
and the
Tuesday,
Barcelona game
next
also.
Tuesday. Then we'll have Madrid Juventus on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then Bayern Munich Sevilla on Wednesday as well.
But we didn't have local midweek matches yesterday.
No, we didn't.
Why? Because of the Champions League took a break.
Obviously. I mean, no, it's not on break.
It's not on break.
But it didn't happen because of what? The Champions League?
No, it didn't happen because of the Champions League.
Why?
They have fixtures, just like the EP, or they have fixtures.
So why didn't they play?
They are not used to playing every midweek.
Why? Why not used to?
Wait, what I mean.
So sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't happen.
Exactly. I mean, they've drawn their fixtures.
Okay.
So if this week,
so there are some midweeks they don't play.
Yeah, there are some midweeks they don't play. Last week Wednesday we played matches. I think this coming we'll have matches this Sunday. And
what
also
about the next midweek?
No, next midweek we don't have.
Then the other midweek.
I think they're being smart because to be fair,
because,
if you put any local games, people will watch the Champions League and they will not watch our matches.
So they'll stay home so that they don't come home
It's
late.
just like we delayed with the start of our season, and that there's a World Cup to come, and when the World Cup starts, will not be. It wouldn't be right.
Charlie, we have an issue. We have to talk about our own league.
Yeah, because it wouldn't be right.
I think we need to find time.
What FIFA normally instructs that in a World Cup year, all leagues must end before the World Cup. But in a situation where the league
can't be possible.
It can't be possible. So what we have to do is, and when we interviewed the FA president, he said they were going to speak to FIFA so that Ghana will be granted maybe special something. And what's going to happen is that sorry.
Who told you that? Kofi Nyanteji?
Yeah, that they will speak
Kwesi.
to FIFA. They will speak to FIFA. So, I mean, ordinarily we shouldn't play league when there is a World Cup. But in our case where we delayed, maybe days that there are no games in the World Cup.
World Cup.
No, but there are some
I
days.
don't know.
Ghana is not participating, but we are watching.
We keep hurting our local league.
No, on a Wednesday, if there are no matches in the World Cup, we can play our league. On
So,
the weekend, there are no matches
you
in
know
the
what
World
it
Cup,
means?
we
It
can play
means
our
that
league.
we will just be playing for playing sake. It's almost like you want to feel something. You want to fill the void.
This year, the attention has been massive. I mean, when you go to league centers, you get people
really?
Yeah, of course.
Do you know what you have to do? We have to talk about the local league. And
Yeah.
Benedict, you and your colleagues, the sports journals, those who are only interested in football, please, let's get to know the players. If you can go take shots of them, let's profile them. Let's know who is playing for Wafa.
Yeah, now
At least two names that we can make household.
Yeah.
Let us know across
the
of football. I
clubs,
don't know.
the clubs were making it very difficult for some of us. But now they've been
They are open.
They are open and they are trying to do. Previously, if you are doing a preview or review show for the league and you want to speak to a player, the communications director of the team will tell you that, oh no, I won't allow any player to speak. Speak to me. Meanwhile, you are not the one that played.
Yeah.
Do you know the chief executive officer of Chelsea? Do you know the chief executive officer of Manchester United? It's the players and the coaches, Mourinho, that will always talk. But here in Ghana, when after every game, you hear CEOs and communications directors speaking when players should speak. Because my player will go and say something that will hurt us, so no, we won't allow the player.
Well, Benedict, thank you.
Focus on our league.
No wonder you didn't go to Australia because
Benedict,
you have to concentrate.
Thank you very much.
If you had gone to Australia, you would have gone through.
Let's move on, Roland.
Now